Hello. I'm going through some of my box of gears here and find myself in the mood for another steampunk type project. I think, looking at this fellow right here, I'm going to turn this into a dragonfly. Has a basic shape, you know. I look at these gears and stuff like that, like organically, what do they resemble if you take its simple form? So I think I could make some wings for it in the anvil and the forge, and some legs and some welding, and we'll see what happens. This is some kind of pinion gear. I guess that went to those old amusement park rides. I bought a whole bunch of these kind of things. I just bought a milk crate full of these old gears, and I make things like that, lamp and so forth. But yeah, I'm thinking dragonfly. Let's see what happens. Now this gear is cut from a solid steel blank. It's actually a pretty intricate gear. It's got a helix gear over here, hob section over here. This is turned, and then this spline is machined in, as well as these threads on the back. It's a pretty intense piece of machining, and this was a bearing that was press fit onto that. How they got that on there, I don't know. Unless this thing was in two pieces and is press fit. But in any event, for our purposes, you just got to clean the rust and scale off. And then I'll give it a shot of WD-40 to kind of keep it that way. And so, a lot of cleaning. Now I think for the eyes for this creature, I'm going to use these steel balls. These are, I think, 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And I'm going to kind of weld them. I'm going to weld them on here at about like yo. The problem, what this is going to be, these are perfect spheres, and this is two flat surfaces. So I'm going to take a diamond tool on my die grinder and or a Dremel or whatever, and I'm going to make radius pockets. So when I do weld this thing, as a welder, I am not. But for art's sake, I can be. And to get more surface area contacted when I'm welded. I mean, I'm looking at that, and there's nothing. I don't know if you could see that, but it's yeah, you see all that light back there. So if I come in with some, modify that a bit to make a more of a contact, and then I'll set my eyes in there. At least that's the plan. Humphrey Bogart. What was that movie? Cane Mutiny. Yeah, strawberries. Diamonds are forever. Alright. Well, that's not bad. This is hard. I thought this might have been just case hardened, but it's hardened through and through. But anyway, at least now I have more of an area for contact. I put 2 divots in here, and I also put a radius in here. And this way this ball of steel will rest in the hole there, and when I weld it, it has more surface area now. As before, it just hardly had any. It had 2 pinpoints. So I'm hoping this will do the trick. The test is in the welding. So we'll see. No, it doesn't look beautiful, but the weld's going to F this all up anyway. So, but that's what I needed to do to get the onward and upward. Now, due to the roundness of this whole contraption and setup here, it is very hard to get a good clamp on this, so I went to the trusty hose clamp. And the trick is to get the welding wire focus into where I need it to be. But even if I could get enough to give it a good tack, I could take said hose clamp off and then finish welding it. But let's see what happens. Innovation at its finest. Okay, I got the eyes in there. I even ground a couple of vertical slits in the eyeballs. I'll probably fill them in with some kind of black or something like that. But it's a start. I just got to clean this up a little bit more, because a grinder and paint make you a welder you ain't. This is hard to weld on here, but it came out pretty good. So we got our eyes. Now we got to work on the wings, or she can't fly. I'm going to fashion some legs for this character. I think what I'm going to use is this steel. These are from like the political signs. You know, vote for somebody. You see out this time of year anyway. I'll cut off like 9-inch sections. And what's good about this stuff is it's very strong. You have to heat it to bend it. And once you bend it, it stays put. It's about 150 thousandths in diameter. So I'll cut 3 pieces and give me 6 legs. What I'm going to do is weld these together in the center over here, and then I could weld them to the bottom of the body, and then heat them up with the torch, and then bend them any way I see fit, so we'll be supporting this thing. What I'm doing now, I'm bending this stuff. This is like a spring steel, actually. And when you heat it, it bends where you want it to. And then when it cools down, you're not bending it. I guess you could do it enough times, you'll take the temper out of it. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff. So there's the legs, and it's going to need a little bit of tweaking and some trimming and so forth, but once it cools down, we'll get it on a bench, and we'll see where I have to adjust it. And as you can see, once you heat it up, it bends like Play-Doh. So now we got legs almost complete anyway. All right, a little tweaking and trimming, and now it's kind of starting to look like the bug that it's supposed to be. Now we get started on the wings. All right, for wings, I'm going to use 1/8 inch by 1 inch flat bar, and I have a little template here. These wings are going to be 4 inches. Ooh, that's a bad wing, right? It's going to be 4 of them. Now I have these holes here. As you can see, I have also an inner line in there. What I want to do is I'm going to trace this out, the inner line, after I grind these to shape. I want to drill a bunch of holes in there, or maybe before I grind them to shape. And the idea is I want kind of a lacy kind of a wing. Like, I don't want it solid. I mean, this thing's heavy enough. But I want like almost like a lace pattern in there. So what I want to do is I'll drill the holes, and then we'll put these wings in the forge, and with a drift I could shape these holes, and if I leave enough meat on the outside of this edge, I'll be manipulating the metal really in the center. It might be a nice effect, or it might turn out to be shit, but we'll have to find out. So 4 inches long, 4 of them. I'll use 16 inches of this 26 inches of flat bar, so I have room for one mistake anyway, or 2. All right, and that's it. Get to it. All right, wings. Well, what does work and what doesn't work? This doesn't work. This is a piece of 1/8 flat bar. Like I said, I was gonna shape it, drill some holes, and then try to turn these holes into a lacy kind of formation. But you know what? This is just, it's too big, it's too thick, it's too heavy, and it's not going to work. So I have some, I think this is like 14 gauge sheet metal that I cut out and then shaped on the belt sander, and now I'm in the process of putting the lacy type veins in there with my Dremel tool with the cutoff wheel on it. We'll get those all done, and then they'll go on, and there'll be the wings for the Dragonfly. So this works much better. It's lighter, it'll look better, I think. Much better choice. I don't know what I was thinking with that, but yeah, that don't work. So anyway, let me get these things finished up and welded on, and then we'll see how we're going to finish this thing. Alright, sir. So, we have a Dragonfly made from a Pinion Gear. I have to think about how I want to finish this. I have some iridescent paints. You know, dragonflies are iridescent. Or I just might just like wire wheel the shit out of this and leave this metal. In any event, it's almost done, and it is a Dragonfly made from a Pinion Gear. We'll see what we can finish it like. Okay, I'm using these iridescent watercolors from Josanja. And the idea isn't to paint this piece, it's just to give it natural iridescence. I have some turquoise, some green, some gold, and I just thought it was kind of looking bleak, just like metal, the color of metal. So we like to leave a lot of steampunk art or stuff like this, just metal, but it's a dragonfly, you know, and I think it needed a little something. So now it has some iridescence to it. Hope that's in frame. And when this dries real good, I'll give the whole thing a coat or two of clear lacquer. I may put just a touch more gold on the wings. It's maybe hard to see in the camera, but the wings have gold on them. And yeah, it's just, I don't think it's as boring. So anyway, that's it. That's a dragonfly. I hope you like it. Well, I hope you liked watching the video. It's a pretty decent piece. And it's made from a gear. Until next time.